Here we are, back at the boat, and planning on taking the boat out tomorrow, but alongside the boat is my next woodworking project. This is my neighbor's back door. It is a 3 feet wide, 8 foot tall, full glass door. And while it may not look bad on this side, once I flip it over here, you're gonna see just how bad it is, where basically this wood is toast. She doesn't have gutters, so water splashes off the roof onto concrete, and then it comes up and it hits this door. And this whole bottom is rotten. So let me flip the door, and I'll show you the other side. Hold on, and let me flip this door. Okay, so here's the other side of the door. This is the outside. And you can see they've tried to use a variety of ways to protect this, but there's not a lot left. And things like this. So it looks like this was dulled. I can see a dull right here. I'm worried that there may be some metal fastener, so I'm going to have to get out my metal detector and see if there's any metal in here. So I'm going to try and use the same kind of skills that I used in making this boat. I have some of the marine epoxy, some of the marine plywood, and we'll see what's salvageable from this door. Because a new door that's 8 foot tall, so this is non-standard size, because the standard size is 6'8". So a new door that's 8 foot tall, exterior door, full glass, is about $1,200, and I'm going to try and fix this for $200 worth of marine plywood, marine epoxies, and some marine paints. We'll see how that works. So I'll bring you back when I get a little bit more of this exposed, and we'll figure out what's still salvageable of this bottom panel and what's totally rotted. This is the worst side, obviously, is the exterior, but I'm going to try and stabilize probably by shaving off a 1/2 inch off this entire side to side and putting a 1/2 inch piece of plywood on. We'll see how that goes. I'll bring it back. Okay, so got this little wand metal detector, and if I look at this joint here, I don't see any metal until I get close to the glass, and I think that's just the metal band that's around the glass, because okay, over here. And there's nothing right there. It's probably a metal band. So, looks like I'm okay to just start cutting and shaving off. My goal is to take circular saw, make a whole bunch of 1/2 inch deep cuts, maybe slightly less than a half, and cut out as much of this rock, and then glue on with epoxy over this whole area all the way across to capture these two styles, the vertical styles. That way, because there's good wood in the center of this, and if I can bridge this gap right here, then I'll be able to keep it together. And I think the marine plywood, we'll see if I have a piece left over from the boat that's big enough. Otherwise, I'll have to piece a couple of smaller pieces. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so that's just a matter of removing all the 4 hinges. It's an 8-foot door, so it's got 4 hinges. And got my crack saw down there, and we'll see if we can't cut into this. This is a good sign, because that looks like good wood in the sawdust from the saw. Okay, so here's all those cuts, and they're to that just a 1/16 under 1/2 inch, and I wanted to do that because I wanted to sneak up on it with my power planer. So the goal would be to take away some of the rest of this material between the cuts with my power planer, and the cuts will allow me to gauge the depth as I get to 1/2 inch. Alright, let me bring you back. Okay, so a couple passes of power planer, and we can see a little bit more what's good and what's not good. Again, this is the worst of the two sides. And the first goal is going to be to get the 1/2-inch marine plywood that will cover this whole bottom piece, side to side, so 3 feet wide there. And once that's epoxied in place, that will give enough support so that I can start chiseling away at these really bad areas from, and we'll see, once I get it down that 1/2 inch, we'll see just where we stand. But I think there's going to be enough material here that's going to be good, and enough material here that's going to be good that we're going to be able to save this door. So that's my prediction right now. Here's one of the dowels that holds this door together, and which is why I want to get this stabilized with this one piece epoxied in place, because I'm worried that the door will come apart, and then we're going to have a much bigger problem on our hands. But that's where we are as of right now, and a lot more material to remove. Bring it back. Okay, so I took the power planer and I got it down fairly smooth. I'm going to take sander to it next. I'm seriously thinking about chopping off 6 inches off the bottom here, and then replacing this all with new wood. That way you wouldn't have the end grain at the bottom, which just wicks up water, and then have a new piece all the way across here, and that will be underneath. I picked out 2 pieces of I think it's 7/16 marine plywood, and those 2 pieces will fit over the top of this area right here, and that way if I put a new 6-inch piece on the bottom and then this epoxy to it, and then when I flip, you know, obviously I'm going to have to work these problem areas separately, but at least by taking off 6 inches here, I get rid of a lot of this problem right here on the bottom where the door seal has to get attached to, and this is completely rotted. So yeah, I think it's going to be at least 6 inches. I'll have to do some measuring and figuring, but I want there to be enough material here so that when I bond with epoxy this plywood across this whole area, it'll stabilize the door. So, and then we'll flip it over and work from the other side. But like I said, I still need to figure out what to do right here in this corner and right here in this corner. Probably dig it out and replace it with something, whether that's just thickened epoxy or what. I haven't figured that out yet. Bring you back at the next pause.